Good morning from the Stakes Barn at Pimlico Racecourse. I'm Acacia Courtney, joined by Tim Tulloch, and we have a pretty special angle for you here because not only do we work as on-air handicappers and analysts, but Tim is also an outrider. So we had some of our Preakness contenders on the track this morning, and I know that Dwayne Lucas was the first out.
He was up with the chickens. He went on at 5:30 when the track opened, and Sporting Chance went out first, and he looked great. He handled everything. Looked like he'd been around the racetrack 1,000 times. Took everything in, quiet, big, good-looking mover, very balanced, and he went very, very nicely.
Now, Dwayne also has Bravazzo in as well, so he has a little bit of a 1-2 punch here in this year's Preakness.
He sure does, and Bravazzo went out right after Sporting Chance, and he went well. He looked good. He was kind of a little bit more affected by what was going on. He had a little high, and he was looking at things more, but he was still very good. He didn't spook or anything like that, but you could just tell that he was taking a little bit more of it in, and it had a little bit more of a thing about him that he looked at.
Some great angles to keep in mind there, and they did go out earlier, and then we waited around for the Kentucky Derby runner-up in Good Magic for trainer Chad Brown. All of these horses shipped in yesterday. Good Magic went in after the break, I believe.
Yes, he went right after the renovation break, and he galloped 1.5 miles. He backed up to the half-mile pole and stood for a little bit, and then galloped twice past the grandstand and pulled up the 7/8 pole, and he looked good, and he looked like he'd been out there 1,000 times too. I mean, these horses, they get to the point where they've seen so much, and after the Derby, coming here is pretty easy. It's a lot quieter than the chaos of the Derby, but he took everything in, looked good going across the ground. The racetrack was sealed this morning because of the rain, but he looked very, very good.
And he did come back with just a little bit of lather on his neck, but it got warmer as the day progressed.
Yeah, it does. And after the break, it gets warm fast here in Baltimore once the sun comes up. The mornings are cool, but once the sun comes up, it's still almost in the south, so it gets pretty warm quickly.
And it looked to me like he hasn't really lost any weight since the Derby, and this can be a very trying time for these 3-year-olds.
Absolutely. When he got off the van yesterday, I thought he looked fantastic and walked well. They walked him around the shed after he got off the van for a while, and came out this morning. They walked around the shed before they trained a bit this morning. So I thought he looked in very, very good flesh when he got off the van yesterday.
It'll be a fun rematch between Good Magic and Justify, who does fly in tomorrow. Tomorrow on Wednesday will be the big day for arrivals, and things will really start picking up here in the morning.
Absolutely. We have 2 plane loads coming in, one from Kentucky, one from California, and then a lot of the local horses, Grand Motion and others, will be shipping in tomorrow. So tomorrow's a really, really big, chaotic day.
It certainly is, and every day is exciting. That's what happened this morning here at Pimlico ahead of the 143rd Preakness.